Welcome to Fairy Tale Access. Together, we will unravel the heroes, young and old, who turn dreams into reality. These are the people who still believe in fairy tales. Hi, welcome to Fairy Tale Access. Today, my guest is Gina Lucci, and she's recently a published author. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So the new book, actually came out in 2010, correct?
Correct, yes.
It's A Lesson in Love?
Yes, that is a romance.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
So what are the lessons in love that people will find in this book?
The story is actually about a woman who falls in love with her college professor. And so they never had the plan of falling in love, and they kept trying to avoid each other, but fate has a way, if you will.
Fantastic. And what's your background?
I am a reader, a writer. I love to, I'm a secretary. I just do so much. And I just always loved reading and writing.
Did you go to school to be an English major?
I didn't. I went to business school. I went to as a secretary, and I did take some classes later for English, but it was always more business side.
Wow. And now you're doing sessions where you go into schools and you talk to different groups. What do you talk to them about?
It all depends. Being an author, the trials of it, trying to get published, but the fun part of writing and using your imagination and just going with it, writing what you enjoy. And that's what I enjoy about it, is going and meeting the readers and the writers and answering the questions and having fun with it.
That's fantastic. We'll look forward to the portion that you do with our Kids Rule hosts.
Thank you.
Cassandra, a little later, so we can see how you interact with young people. How did that come about? How did you get into the schools to talk about it?
My son's teacher wanted me to come in, and so I did. I went in and had fun and enjoyed it. So I've gone to the library, been there for an author night at the library. As it comes up, I just have fun with it.
Right. And how do you engage children to want to use their imaginations? Do you find it difficult? Is it hard to draw them out sometimes?
I think once you start asking them questions, asking them what they enjoy about writing, and getting them to start using their imagination, it starts to evolve on its own. And they get excited, and then they want to start doing more and writing more and going home and reading and kind of seeing what they can come up with their own imagination.
Wow. So a little more about the book, A Lesson in Love.
Yes.
When you go into schools, what's the message that you want children and young people and adults in general to get?
With regards to my book, it's really just about reading and writing in general. When I'm going into the schools, I want children especially to know how valuable reading is and using the imagination. When I'm talking to adults, again, I enjoy talking to the readers. And for those that are looking to write, I encourage them to write and write some more and really hone their craft.
Fantastic. Because it's true that the more you write, the more you practice, the better that you get.
Right.
Is there anything else that our audience should know? Where could they contact you to see what's coming up next?
My website, which is ginalucci.com, and if they're interested in becoming a writer, join a writers group such as New Hampshire Romance Writers of America. There's New Hampshire's Writers Project. There's pretty much writer groups for any genre that they're looking for.
Great. And how do you spell your last name?
It's Leuci.
Okay. Kind of like Susan Lucci?
Spelled differently. Pronounced
differently.
the same, yes.
So is there a lot of drama in your books then?
There is.
Seems to
There's
go
a little
along
bit
with
of
the name.
suspense. There's a little bit of suspense in with the romance. I like to have the the characters kind of develop on their own, really. But I don't want, it's not just straight romance, there's some action to it.
So with all the characters involved in your book, do you use pictures to signify who they are to you, or do you have a board that you list your characters out on with?
A little bit. I'm not very I'm artistic in that way. Sometimes I will try and find the character, photo to have up, but really it just kind of comes in my mind. And I'm not always good at finding that actor or actress or model that's out there to really fit the character in my mind. So I just kind of go with it and kind of write down the characteristics as I'm writing, so that I have the list there for me, but not necessarily the photo.
Great. So what are some good pointers for somebody who wants to start writing a book?
Read. Do lots of reading. Understand your audience. Where are you writing? Are you writing for the mysteries? Are you writing the romance, fantasy? Get to know that craft. And then write. And write what you know. Write what you love. And write for yourself more than anything. Then it's a matter of, at that time, when you have that book and it's done, then you need to really join a writer's group, because only then are you really going to have the support that you need to find the ways to do the query letters to editors and agents, and to really get yourself out there and know the market.
Wow. So what would joining a writer's group be like? Are they welcoming? Is it clicky?
No, it is so welcoming. I know, NHRWA is amazing. From the moment I walked in, everybody was so friendly, and it really becomes such a close group of friends all around.
Really, you're not competitive?
Not at all.
Really?
Not at all, no. I mean, everybody really wants to help everybody else, whether they're starting their journey or if they're multi-published. They are absolutely wonderful and really ready to help critique, help with answering questions, helping on that journey from getting that book completed to getting a hold of the editors and the agents. So it really is a wonderful group.
That's fantastic. Is there anything else that you would suggest for the young writer or the older writer?
Write. If you want to be a writer, write. Get out there and do it. And it's really a matter of finishing it and editing, learning how to self-edit, and finding that person who's going to read it and help you hone your craft.
Now, on your website, there's a couple of little writing segments. So is that something, would blogging be a good way for a young person to start learning to write?
Yes. The blogging is so, it's fascinating these days, and especially even as a young author or a young writer wanting to get out there, it's a great way to hone the craft.
Oh, fantastic. Because then they'll know who their audience is, because they can track their audience, they can track the demographics, the ages, and they can see how they respond. If they pass around a blog section, then they can see what the feedback is, and they know that the more it's passed, the more that people liked it.
They're also going to learn their writing style, their writing voice, and that is going to help them as well, because everybody has their voice. They have to really find the way to hone it to make it come out on paper. And that is really a very important part, is knowing your voice in the market.
Fantastic. Well, I'm so happy that you're going to stay around and answer questions from our youngest host, Cassandra.
I'm looking forward to it.
8, but she's very interested in the title of your book, A Lesson in Love. And I think the love is writing and reading.
It is. Absolutely.
And being able to express yourself to a wider audience.
Thank you.
So I'm very excited to meet you and turn you over to Cassandra. And we'll be back in just a moment with Cassandra of Kids Rural. And I'm sure you'll be excited by the news that she pulls there. We'll see you soon. Keep asking questions.
Hi, welcome to Fairy Tale Access for Kids Rule. My name is Cassandra, and today I am going to be interviewing Gina Lucci.
Hi, Cassie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you for joining me today. How long has your book, A Lesson in Love, been out in the market?
It came out in May of 2010, and it is available online and in print, both on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
What is it about?
It is a romance story, and romance is much like fairy tales. Fairy tales are stories where the characters have a happy ever after, and they're written for children. And romance is books about the characters have a happy ever after as well, but they're just written for the grown-ups.
Are you a full-time author, or do you have other jobs?
I do have another job that I work at. I am an office manager for a company called Molly Mae, and then I write on the weekends and in the evenings.
Oh, cool. When and how did you get into this field?
I always liked to read. I was always reading. When I was in high school, I had an English class where we had to do some free writing, and a teacher told me that she enjoyed my writing, and it got me thinking that I wanted to write more often. So maybe around high school and college, I started doing some writing, but I didn't finish anything. It was later, once my son was born, that I decided that I really wanted to write that book.
Wow, that's pretty cool. What did you like to read when you were my age?
Ooh, I like to read mysteries. I would read the Bobbsey twins and Nancy Drew, Trixie Belden, anything with suspense. I wanted to just keep reading.
Oh, that's really, really cool. When did you start reading chapter books like novels?
I'm not sure exactly how old I was, but I do know that my mom used to read a chapter a night to my sister and I, but I couldn't wait to finish. So I would read ahead, and I would finish the books before my sister would ever get to have the ending. Yes, my sister never got to hear the endings of the books because I read ahead.
Really sneaky.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite type of book?
Anything, I like to read anything that has a happy ending. So I think that's why I write the romance, because I really like to have everything tied up at the end and feel satisfied and happy that with the characters and where their story is.
I like happy endings, really happy endings too. Who was your favorite author?
I read a lot of Nora Roberts, and she writes romance. She writes also under another pen name, J.D. Robb, which is more of detective stories. So I read all of hers. I also have met so many authors over the past few years that I read a lot more of. There's just so many to really pin down one. Kristen Higgins writes some wonderful romance with a lot of humor. And I have people in my writing group that I know, Christine Butler and Lisa Olek, and there's just too many to really name. I love reading.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Who are your influences?
Well, Nora Roberts definitely. She is amazing with the amount of books that she puts out. I like James Patterson. I like his books. I like how he writes his chapters. So there's a lot of different authors out there. And I'm more contemporary, more the modern day authors that I enjoy reading to know what I like to write.
Mm-hmm. Was it hard to get published?
It's a long journey. It's not something that just, this is my book here, put it out on the market. You do have to write a letter to the agents and the editors, and you hope that they request some of your chapters and that they're looking to read more of your book, and so it is a little bit of a journey.
How How do you deal with rejections if you had any?
Oh, I've had rejections. It's not always easy because you want everybody to absolutely love your story that you're putting out. But sometimes the rejections come with some valuable feedback. And the key really is to take a look at the feedback and see how it works for you and how to better your manuscript to make it into the book and get it out there.
Wow. That's really, really frustrating and
It can be frustrating, you're right. You're right, it is frustrating because you want everybody to love that book. Not everybody does, it's not for everybody.
yeah. I bet I would like it if I got a book from you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there a format? Is there a format you use when writing?
Format. Well, if you mean what, is there a way that I write chronologically. I don't write certain scenes and then kind of fit them together. I like to write chapter by chapter, and I have to make it all fit before I can write the next chapter. I may know where I want to go with my next chapter, but I have to get it down on paper first and get there from step to step. Sometimes that can be frustrating to make it all work and fit the pieces of that puzzle together.
I really bet. Do you get writer's block? And if so, what is it and how do you get over it?
Writer's block. I think we all do at times. So yes, I sometimes, like I said, I want to make the pieces of the puzzle fit together, and I'm not sure how to get from point A to point B in the manuscript. Sometimes it's a matter of the characters have their own voice, and I want to make sure that the way that I write their story comes out properly. Sometimes I have to stop what I'm doing and I go and read a book and get my mind off my characters and free my brain, if you will, to clear up and come back with a clear vision of how to write it.
That's really cool. Are you a member of any writers groups?
I am. I belong to New Hampshire Romance Writers of America, which is a local chapter of Romance Writers of America, which is a larger group. And they are there to help writers on their journey to becoming authors and authors on their journeys to being successful. And there's lots of wonderful friends that I have made there and very supportive group.
Wow. What is the NH? No. How many years have you been writing?
I really started in high school. Like I said, there was an English class where we had to do some free writing, and we had to turn in 3 pages a week, and then the teacher would edit those. And I was turning in 6 or 8 pages a week, and the teacher came to me and said, I think you will learn more if you learn how to self-edit rather than me making some changes for you. And that really started me on my writing journey.
Wow. What's next? A new book?
There is a new book coming out. I'm just about finished writing it. It is a story of a firefighter. I like firefighters. They're fun.
Me
They're,
too.
Yeah, they're nice heroes.
Yeah, 'cause they fight fires.
They do. And so I am writing a story about a firefighter and a woman who owns a daycare. And it's their story and their romance, falling in love.
Oh. Where can people get your book?
They can get it on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com and through my website, GinaLucci.com.
Cool.
And do you know how to really work on your writing? I have a tip for you when you're writing.
Yeah.
If you think of the words, what if? All right, you can create any story and make it even better. For example, did you see the movie Shrek?
Yes.
Okay. So if you were creating a story for the characters in Shrek, and you wanted to say Shrek was taking his children to far, far away, okay? But they wanted to go on vacation on the way there. You can create all kinds of stories just by saying, well, what if they went off the path and decided to travel through the woods? Who would they find there? And then you can kind of create your story from there, right? What if they ran into the big bad wolf? What would they do? And you can weave your story that way.
Hey, you can like mix in like
All your
stories.
different fairy tales, exactly. Exactly. So what if they met Hansel and Gretel in the woods? What would they do then? And where would your story go on that way? What would you say?
I would say that they would go to their house.
What would they find at Hansel and Gretel's house?
Three little bears.
The three little bears. Okay, excellent. And are they sleeping? Are they mean? Are they
Happy.
They're happy. And what are they going to have there? Are they going to eat porridge, or is Donkey going to make them pancakes?
Pancakes.
Pancakes. See, you can make your story go any way you want. And then when they leave there, what are they going to come across in their story? Are they going to meet Jack and Jill? Are they going to have stormy weather, or is it going to be sunny out? Sunny. See, there's all kinds of ways that you can create your story and make it interesting and fun. You can have Cinderella in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
You can have Rumpelstiltskin, right? What other fairy tale characters could you have in your story?
I don't know.
You don't know? Oh, I'm sure you've read lots of fairy tales. Do you want the big bad wolf chasing them?
No.
No? No? Oh, you got to have some excitement. You got to have them.
Okay.
Yes, you have to have something fun. So that's the fun thing about being a writer, is that you get to use your imagination. And that's what I love. I love using my imagination and creating stories that have conflict and twists and turns in the stories, and in the end, it all works out okay, doesn't it?
The big bad wolf chases them, and then at the end they have some tea party.
They have a tea party. Is that with the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland? Okay, what an adventure that would be, wouldn't it? And you came up with this all on your own by using your imagination.
I think I should really start that, like my own book, like for book reports and stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so much fun. When you're reading your stories for school, you can read your stories and then decide, well, what would I make different? How would I change the ending of this book? And that in itself is a really great book report, too, is I'm changing the ending of this story using my imagination. And then that gets your reading and your writing and your imagination going.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great way to start your writing.
Hope we got all your questions in. And don't forget, keep asking questions.